Welcome to Quiet Storm's Corner. Today we are going to be talking about entrepreneurship and just some of the tips, some basic tips to consider if you are an entrepreneur or if you have a loved one that's an entrepreneur, and just kind of keeping in mind the mental health issues that go into being an entrepreneur, because there are different struggles that people who own their own businesses have that versus people who have a 9 to 5. And there's definitely some struggles with people who have the 9 to 5, but just for the sake of this video, we're just going to be talking about entrepreneurship. In my practice, I tend to attract a whole lot of entrepreneurs as well as creative types. And I think that has a lot to do with just my personal energy and myself being an entrepreneur and creative. So, one of the main things that I like to acknowledge when it comes to being an entrepreneur is that at times there is a feast and famine that may happen for people. So there can be, or what I like to call building and action seasons. So sometimes, you have to work on things can be very slow, and you're working on branding, you're working on your paperwork, your documentation, your taxes, whatever it is. You have a lot of different things that you're working on and building. And during those times, sometimes the finances aren't coming in as ready and flowing. So during that time, some people can seep into minor depression or major anxiety just trying to make sure that they are having their finances in order. And that can be a very stressful period of time, especially when people are in your circle are have a steady flow of income from whatever job they have. They might not understand how one moment you're able to treat everybody out to drinks, and the next moment you're like, oh, I can't go nowhere because I don't have enough to pay my water bill. It happens to different people at different times. Ideally, what you want to do as entrepreneurs, you want to have savings. You want to make sure you're building up a nest egg so that when you are in times of famine, you do have reserve available. So just kind of acknowledging the feast and famine. A lot of people, especially on these Instagrams, on all this social media, that makes entrepreneurship look easy. And maybe for a lot of people it is, but for most of the people who I've seen, there's seasons and that happen for everybody where you'll have highs and lows. And we just want to, again, just keep in mind that that's normal, that not everybody's going to know the whole story, but you have to do your part in taking care of yourself while you're going through whatever struggles you're going through. With that being said, depending on what phase you are in your journey, entrepreneurship can be very lonely. A lot of people don't understand that in order to work for yourself, it can be very rewarding, but it can be very time consuming. It can be financially draining. It can be emotionally draining, resource draining. And a lot of people who say they have your back aren't really always there for you in supporting you while you're going through this journey of developing yourself and developing your business. I say one of the best ways to challenge and see where your wounds are is be in a relationship or start a business or have a child. Those three things will always kind of show you where some of your own areas of growth are. And again, when you're going through that space of growth as an entrepreneur, sometimes the people around you just don't understand it. They don't understand the struggle. And that's why it's important for you to make sure you're around circles of people who are doing the same similar things as you. You're also possibly getting some type of mental health treatment from a professional who can kind of help you with self-analyzing and also just basic reflection, and so that you feel supported even if you might not have other people in your life that are supporting you. Always, one of the things that I learned very early in my journey of entrepreneurship is most likely the people who are closest to you are not your customers. So you always want to make sure you're not depending on your family and your friends to be the people who have your back, because a lot of times they just don't know how to. So in order to move past that, again, you want to be in circles with other entrepreneurs. You want to be in circles with people who are your primary customers. You want to be in circles with people who have your back. I know as a therapist, I'm part of a lot of different groups. For other therapists, I get my own therapy. I get a lot of support from a lot of different people because it can be a very isolating field. Another thing to kind of keep in mind is that, if you're really good at sustaining your business, in order to do that, you have to have both vision. I'm going to go a little bit over 5 minutes, but you have to have vision and you also have to be grounded. So, for me, I'm always looking 5 years ahead, but at the same time, I'm focused on what am I doing here right now to make sure the bills are paid. So again, that can be a struggle for some people. A lot of people who are creatives, a lot of people who are entrepreneurs tend to be too overly forward thinking, and they miss out on making sure that they have their paperwork done, making sure that they have their bills paid, making sure that their profit fits where their long-term goals are. And as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure you're always checking in the here and now as well as looking in the future so that your business can continue to grow. Some people just get stuck on either always being in the vision, and some people get stuck on just the weeds of the day in and day out. So again, finding a business coach of some form can be very helpful. Being in different circles where people are talking about the similar things can be very helpful. So again, my basic things for for making sure you're supported as an entrepreneur is make sure you're getting plenty of exercise, because you need to make sure you're healthy. Make sure you're having a good diet, make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who support you and understand what you're going through. And again, building some type of safety nest for yourself when it comes to your finances, because those are all things that are really important for you as you go through your journey. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or topic ideas, feel free to message me, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.